So when you get to the airport, you're gonna be looking for this ADO airport. This is where you're gonna buy your tickets so you can go to downtown Cancun. Once you do so, you'll be getting a ticket just like I did. Every ticket is 140 pesos, which is about $7. Once you get your ticket, you gotta make your way out and out of the airport and back to the positioning for the buses. The first bus comes at 8:10. So if you have a very early flight like I did, well, you're gonna have to wait an hour, hour and a half. If you land after 8, you'll be fine. The wait shouldn't be that long. Otherwise, like I said, yeah, you're gonna have to wait. But essentially, the first bus that takes you to Cancun Downtown, it's at 8:10. That's the first one. Again, it's 140 pesos, which is about $7. You're gonna make your way like this, as I am. This is restricted area, so I'm gonna see if they let us go through here. Hold on. Okay, so I showed him my ticket, and he said, "Yep, come right through." So you go through here, and you're gonna keep walking. You're gonna go past these taxis, and you're gonna find the position. The bus position should be right over there. You probably see them now. My platform, as they call it, is 67. So what we need to do is look for that position. This is actually where we came out. This is Terminal 2. So when you come out, if you want to wait here, because I didn't want to be waiting here, I actually went inside departures and where I bought the ticket, and that's the first thing I showed you. But essentially, even on departures, they'll have a little kiosk right here for ADO Airport where you can buy different passages to either Cancun or Playa del Carmen or Cozumel or whatever else. They have another kiosk there for help and another one at the very end. So you see the red at the end. So there's plenty of people here that can assist you with buying that ticket. Again, so right now it's 140 pesos, which is about $7. He'll take you to downtown Cancun to the bus station, and then from there I'll show you how to get to your hotel without having to use a taxi or Uber or anything like that. So this is the position that we were given. We were given position 67, which you can see up there on the ceiling, 67. I'm gonna show you the ticket. It's very windy today. So there's a bus, there's a seat. They will give you a seat and you have to use that seat. The time, 8:10, as I told you. We're going to downtown Cancun. 140 pesos is the price. And yeah, essentially they'll tell you just to come over here. They'll give you the position. They'll essentially write it down for me right there. That's what they'll do for you. 67, you look for that position, and then you wait until your bus is here. Open the compartment for the luggage, and then you'll start storing all your bags in there as needed. There we go. He made the call. Downtown Cancun. Buenos días. Dos, por favor, aquí, en la página. 21 y 22. Gracias. Ah, pa.
Esa gente es mala, ¿eh?
So once you get to the station, you get on the bus, and you're gonna find the exit. One tiny exit, and then you'll be at the main lobby of the bus station. So for the like if you want to go anywhere else, then you make another stop right here at Adeo, and you can go to like different places like Chetumal, Chichen Itza, Playa del Carmen, and so on. So there's like plenty of. Essentially, this whole thing is ADO, so you can go to like anyone here, and they'll sell you a ticket to wherever it is that you need to go. If you want to grab a taxi, which I don't recommend, but if you want to, they're right outside. They're quite expensive compared to public transportation, but that's an option that you can do. Other than that, I will show you how to get to the hotel zone without having to use a taxi. So this is in front of the ADO station. Once you leave and you cross the street, and essentially you're gonna be walking this way. We're going to go grab the public transportation bus, also known as the R1 and R2. Those take you to the hotel zone. So instead of paying taxis, expensive taxis, or even Uber, or even a taxi from the streets, the free taxis, or taxi libres as they call them, free roaming taxis, we're gonna take the public transportation because it's way cheaper and it's still gonna get us to our destination. So it makes no sense to be wasting extra money for no reason. Again, it's R1 and R2 because it's Route 1 and Route 2. Those are the ones that go strictly to the hotel zone. Okay, so you're gonna walk this way. This sign right here is where you'll be waiting for the bus to pull up. Don't really have an estimated time, but as far as I'm concerned, they come as often as they can. They don't really have a schedule. You just keep going round and round. So you can get a nice estimate location. We're right here, but the bus station's over there, so it's not that far of a walk. It's just 2 blocks, half block. It's not that far. And we literally just wait here until we see R1 or R2. So this one, that's like reddish orange. There's like a different designs on it sometimes, but essentially it's this red one right here. That's the button you need to press when you want to stop the bus. When you request a stop, you press that little button. At this point, you have to get on your GPS, go to the hotel you're going, and when you start getting close to it, get ready to ask for that stop so you can get out and go to your hotel. So that's the stop that I ended up getting off of. And then these are the more classic like R1, R2 buses, those old red ones. But either one of them is good as long as they're like red or like orange. They're the ones that do the hotel zone. That's another bus stop right there. You always have to wave them down because they won't always stop unless you wave them down. There's another one right here. Yeah, so that's all it takes, just a few dollars. To get to the hotel zone. So now I'm going to make my way from the Intercontinental to the Iberostar Selection Cancun. But I'm not going to use a taxi or Uber or anything like that. I'm going to go ahead and use the public transportation because for that it will only be 12 pesos, and it takes me all the way to, well, any hotel really in the hotel zone. The only downside to using transportation here is this: you have to be very careful when you cross because they do not yield for pedestrians. So there's our red bus right there. Something that I learned is that there's also like a gray orange bus. So that's like the updated version. So the red ones are the old version. The gray orange ones are the new version. You can get on either or, and it will take you all the way throughout the hotel zone, really. It doesn't matter if it says R2 or R1. It's essentially all the hotel zones. So just get on the red one, and I'll try to show you later, like, oh, there we go. So that's like a gray orange one. Same thing, hotel zone. So this is where the buses turn around. This is the last stop. Essentially, it's the Westin. It's right here. And that's the last stop. After that, it goes back. So you see that bus coming in, it's gonna come in and go back around. I got off here so I could show you the stop, but I'm going back around so I can be at the Everstar where I'm headed. So this is the buses that I was showing you. I wanted to show you the Cancun. They're like gray, orange. These are the new buses. So if you see this or you see a red one, this is the one you want to get on. So I was speaking with one of the bus drivers for the public transportation, and he was telling me that this bus is the orange with the gray that you see right now. So those are the new buses that they're using now for the R1 and R2 routes that do the hotel zone. So the red ones are being phased out, but so right now they said they only bought half the fleet. So that's why you still see a lot of red ones and a lot of those new gray orange ones. So if you come and you see a red bus or you see that orange gray, you can get on it and it will take you throughout the hotel zone. If I would have come from like directly from, so before I say anything, like there's another red one right there just so you can see it. He'll make the stop right there. He'll drop you off. Let me zoom in. So those red ones are the old ones. So those are being phased out. Now the one back there arriving again, gray and orange. And that's also the same route, which is Hotel Zone. All right. The reason they're getting the new ones are because those have AC. The old red ones don't have AC, and it gets very hot here. So they're now doing those new ones, the newer ones, and they have AC. Essentially, is what they told me. But like I mentioned already, there's only about half the fleet replaced. So they're still using the red ones for now, but eventually there will be no more red ones. That's the idea, to get rid of all the red ones because they have no AC. Another stop is right here. So as you can see, there's a stop on either side, always. Some you can't really tell that they're a stop. Others are very obvious, like this one. Has a little overhead, like a bench, that has a sign. So that's a stop. But also over here, the red one just passed. There's a sign. And that's a stop as well. So it really varies how the stops look, but essentially there will always be one on each side. If I would have come directly from the Intercontinental, I would have stopped there and then went across to the Verostar, just across the street. But because I did go all the way around to the very last stop so I can show you where it is, which is essentially the Westin, there's a very last stop. On the way back, I got off right here. So either way, even if you miss your stop, you can come back around. But do keep in mind that some of these drivers don't like it if you don't get off on the last stop, and they want to either have you get off or pay again. So, as I always mention, just turn your GPS on and ask for a stop when you're getting close to your destination. So that way you don't mess up and then you miss your stop and then have to go all the way around again and all that. It is 12 pesos, which is about 60 cents USD right now, but you are able to pay with dollars. So if you have singles, you can pay with that. But keep in mind, you will not be getting any change back, okay? So either you have the Mexican pesos, you can have, small 20 bills, even 50s, but always try to keep coins with you and small 20 pesos bills. So that way you can pay for your bus, because then you'll get your change. But if you find yourself without any change, it's okay. Just have single dollar bills. Bring some single dollar bills, but keep in mind, you will not be getting change. So you will be paying about, right now the conversion is about 20 pesos. So if you give a dollar, you're paying 20 pesos for that ride instead of 12, which isn't terrible if you rather not have to deal with like having small bills, or you don't want to be worrying about having smaller bills. The reason I noticed this is because I saw like a Korean couple get on and they gave $2 to the bus driver and they did not get any change back. So when I went at the last stop where I showed you where it was the Westin, when I got out, I wanted to test it. So I had two singles on me and I gave those two singles to the driver and he just went ahead and put them away, and that's it. He didn't bother trying to give me change or anything. So that's why I'm letting you know right now. If you have singles, it's okay. You'll get to where you need to go, but you'll be losing like 40 cents, which isn't terrible, but I wouldn't do it long term. Just make sure when you change dollars to pesos that you get smaller bills, or start breaking those 500 pesos dollar bills. Like every time you go to a restaurant or buy something, try to give those 500 peso bills, so that way you can have some smaller bills. And always try to have pesos, because if you try to pay somewhere with dollars, they'll take them, but the conversion rate is going to be smaller than it actually is. So I've seen places where it's like a dollar is 15 pesos. I've seen other places where it's 16 pesos. So you'll be losing money if you use dollars when you're in Cancun. So you want pesos. But again, it's not terrible. You're not going to go bankrupt trying to use your dollars for little things like public transportation, but I wouldn't do it long term, especially if you're going to restaurants. Then again, if you're going to restaurants, then just use a credit card. Use a credit card and just have your bank do the conversion. There's two more buses. So you can see right here, I know it's been many minutes that I've been recording, but I want to give you this information, these tips, and also want to show you that those buses come quite often. So if you need to go anywhere around the Cancun hotel zone, you will not be having to worry about paying taxi or grabbing an Uber, and then grabbing an Uber, having the taxi drivers be mad at you, and all these unnecessary problems. Just get on the public transportation, 12 pesos. I believe that's locked at 12 pesos because this is the government that tells them it has to be 12 pesos, because that's essentially the public transportation for the locals that go to work. So when you get on these buses, you'll be sharing these buses with locals that are coming to the hotels to work. Since I'm towards the end, every time I get some passengers here, I've seen them get picked up and it's like empty, because the last stop is not too far from here. So if you're staying on this side of the hotel zone and you're going back towards like the main heart of the hotel zone, you probably have a seat, which I recommend, because some of these drivers, if you have mobility issues, so you're not that strong, you don't want to be standing up, because they get a little crazy, some of these drivers, okay? So always try to have a seat. But anyway, I wanted to give you this information, give you a little update, and also it's very windy, so hopefully it's not too terrible when I record this and it's too windy. But yeah, so you see there's more buses coming. They're always coming nonstop. So there's no need for taxis, Uber, or even a car if you're only coming to the hotel cell. So if you're planning on going anywhere else, then yeah, you'll need different buses. You'll need maybe a car or private transportation, which can be pricey. But if you're a tourist, like at least for me this time around, I didn't go anywhere. I just stayed in the hotel zone, and that's it. So at least for me, I did not care to go anywhere else. So I'm not paying extra money to use Uber and taxi when I can just get on these buses and pay 60 cents USD each way. So I hope you found this information helpful.